All right, those intro credits that we love so much. So, yes, it's episode 15, the title of which is Siren Song. We're speeding right up to the thrilling conclusion of this one. I believe it'll be this session and maybe one more session after this session, right, Asa?
Right. Yep.
Right.
We're hitting near climax of this episode, and between this session and the next session, we'll hit that peak, and then we'll have a little bit of time to sort of come down and you know deal with the ramifications
Oh, yeah.
of what is going on.
With our group, there's always a lot of baggage to unpack. That's what we got going on. So, yeah, without further ado, let us move on to what we'd like to call group therapy. It's a chance to check in with our characters, get a bit of a recap of what just happened recently, and yeah, I think we're going to start with Ellie right down there this time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we're on a mission to rescue Ellie's brother. So she's been pretty focused on that. And it's made her a little bit snappy. She's not being again the nicest person to be traveling with necessarily. She's under a lot of pressure. That's all it is right now. She has discovered that she has what's the word? A parasite. I can't think of the word.
Parasite's fitting.
Yeah, but where it's from?
Ethereal.
Thank you. Ethereal. Oh, ethereal parasite. It's going to be an interesting game tonight. My brain's not working. Attached to her leg that she doesn't really know how to get off. She tried to ask Finnegan, who was helpfully unhelpful.
He helped. He was a helper.
Helpful. Yeah. And so when they went to sleep in this sort of dungeony like thing that they're in, she woke up. I mean, technically she woke up with one less spell slot, but magically drained, we'll say. So that's a slight concern, but at the minute she's got far bigger concerns. We carried on through the little dungeon that we're in. Came up across a riddle, and I think she was quite happy with her and Leah girl powering their way through the riddle and door block, while the boys dealt with the big horrible monster. And then there was a whole thing with the item. Again, because she's in a rush, she was just like, we're chopping off the arms of this dead dwarf guy. Just taking the items and going. She ain't got time to stop. And then we came across the young dwarven. No, what is he? Is he dwarven or drow? Dwarven. The young dwarven guy, who we thought was like a good guy before, holding a gun and having poor Rory hostage, which is a big deal for Ellie because she's somehow latched onto this guy. So Ellie kind of like gave instructions for this sort of like joint little attack on them, but in the process has been shot in the stomach. It's kind of just happened, but she's in pain. So that's her current feeling is pain, lots of pain. What is this in my side? But also, we need to find my brother. Yeah, high tension, lots of stress right now. It's kind of where she is.
I mean, good reason for it.
Yeah. Do you want to go, Alex?
No, there's noise going on in the kitchen. You go.
Okay. So, Eigner, obviously, with the current events that are going on, his general feeling is that of purpose and confidence. He just ran clear up to this guy Not who had the gun and shield bashed him in the face. If you've seen Eigner in the past in this game, you know that one of his favorite things to do is shield bash people in the face. So he got to do that, and yeah, he's just very determined. He's on a mission for Ellie right now. He's helping Ellie. You know, he feels like they're getting close to finding her brother. Like that's just a kind of a tunnel-visioned concern of his. But there is something going on in the back of Eigner's mind that is cooking on the back burner, you could say. Um, he is just thinking about how complicated everything has gotten with him needing, like, being somewhat, like, desperately clingy for divine guidance and the meaning that comes with that. And he's really starting to question right now, like, is my life better now that I like have a god again? If you were watching back in the last episode that I was the dungeon master for, you got a very chilling look into Eigner's past where he worshipped another god that and that took him down a pretty dark path. So he's already been through this process of getting just completely jaded and completely like disillusioned with divinity in general. And now he's starting to get to this point where he feels like I've been fooled again, I've been used again, I've been, like whatever it is that happened to him the last time, he's starting to feel like this is happening to him again in a different way. So it's a difficult situation for him because he is very dependent on just the actual power, like the actual mechanics, the actual like the things that Uronic gives him. He is very reliant on them. But he's starting to feel like, am I better off because of this? Am I? Or was life better before when I didn't worry about gods at all? So yeah, he's got this kind of like really big thing cooking in the back of his mind, but the most of his mind is dedicated to, we're on a mission, damn it. We're gonna find Ellie's brother. I hope. I think. I don't know. I'm gonna shield bash some guys. So yeah, that's where Eigner is. Yeah.
Yeah, Leah, for the most part, has been kind of riding some new highs. She's really enjoyed those moments of teamwork with Ellie, and feeling like she had something to contribute. That was really big for her. That made her feel good, which is good because the rest of the time, most of the time, she feels guilty about something or other. Unfortunately, she is just on the cusp of realizing that her last little bit of teamwork with Ellie has now indirectly or directly resulted in Ellie getting shot. So, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But she is, at the moment, at least, kind of focused on the here and now and what needs to happen next. And she has Rory, and like her next actions are going to be to try to like untie him and stuff. She's always happier when she's performing some sort of action that doesn't involve actually attacking, but is useful in some other way, which I think was partially why she was so pleased with the outcome of the door puzzle situation, because that was that kind of contribution. She could contribute without having to use her powers also. Very, very nice. She liked that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, she's always got background stuff in the back of her head that's always terrible. She's got some things that she's mulling over. But on the surface level, it's mostly, yay, I was able to contribute, and thinking about Ellie. That's it.
Well, all right. Take it away, Mr. Dungeon Master Man, Asa Man.
Cool. So, Leah has pulled Rory away and ripped the sackcloth off of his face. He's got some blood running down his nose. He's clearly been in a little bit of a tough. Eigner has given Not the good shield bash, and without being shielded by Rory any longer, it's very clear that Not has taken a wound in the side and has been sort of bleeding along the way. And Darun has advanced on Not demanding to know what has happened here. Uh, and in all of this, Ellie is standing at the far end of the room and holding her side, and all of your eyes fall upon what was behind Not, a black door, as the warning of the dead dwarf, whose arms you took as a way of not having to touch the medallion he was holding, had said, and I might misquote this, but it said something along the lines of, "I am the last of us. Do not judge me. Uh, Stay away from the black door if you wish to see another sunrise." Those words come into your mind as your eyes fall upon the black door. To give another description of the layout of the room itself, it is a sort of alchemy or experimental lab. There are a few cages that range from anything from being able to hold something as small as a bird to being able to hold something as large as a troll. Skeletal corpses are all that remain of the beings held in here. Tables are pushed up against the wall with a smattering of all kinds of alchemical paraphernalia. Light pours in from a grated hole above you in the ceiling, about 80 feet up, and it's like a crisscross sewer grate kind of thing. And yeah, some sand was trickling in through this hole as well.
Are we out of initiative at this point?
Oh, right, yes. That's a very good question.
It's a good question.
Yeah, Not is sort of wavering on the edge of consciousness after Eigner's shield bash and his assault from Darun as well. He is not looking to move to get up at all.
Mm. Well, Eigner can't quite tell that quite yet, so what he's going to do is he's going to quickly sheathe Talon's blade, and he's going to reach down and just pick Not up. And, you said Not's a dwarf, right?
Right, Not as a young dwarf,
he's
no
a young
beard.
Dwarf. No beard. Oh, okay. So he's, small enough and he's light enough where Eigner can just kind of, get him in this, this hold. He'll just get his arms up, so Not's arms are kind of like this, and Eigner's got his arms wrapped around his arms, so he's just totally just grappling and immobilizing Not. So he'll pick him up and just get him in that hold and make sure that he can't do any funny stuff.
All right.
Leah's next action will be looking to see whatever she needs to do to untie or unchain or whatever is Rory's situation, fixing that.
Yeah, Rory just has his hands tied behind his back with a thick rope, but you could attempt to untie it or cut it, whatever feels necessary for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably untie it.
Okay.
I think Ellie is stood on her own now, because she even sent Ein towards Nut as well. So she's just sort of stood at the far end of the room on her own. I'm gonna say Doreen's moved as well.
Yeah.
And she, her ears are ringing. It's she has that numb, you get cold sweats, you can't hear properly. Everything, voices and everything is really muffled. And she kind of brings her hands away from her stomach, and they're covered in blood. And then she coughs a little, and a little bit of blood comes out in her cough. And she just stands there, sort of shaking and looking at her hands, and then keeping on kind of touching the hole, not really paying attention now to anything that's going on in the room.
Yikes!
I think I want Leah to notice now, maybe, that's what's going on. Maybe the cough or something kind of caught her attention. And then instantly, she might even just leave off whatever she's doing with Rory. I don't know if she's midway through trying to untie the knots or something. She'll just she'll stop and step toward Ellie and say, "Ellie, what's happened?"
You sort of numbly looks up at you and then just kind of like holds her hands out. And then I think like her knees kind of give way, so she's like goes to then like drop onto her knees on the floor. And she's just kind of like stuttering, like
Leah's definitely just rushing forward. Yeah, she's abandoning Rory. Yeah, fuck that guy. And she will attempt to like catch Ellie before she hits the ground. And I don't know if she's quite realized that it was from the gun and it was because she jostled the dwarf, but she's definitely concerned, and she'll take out her staff and attempt to heal Ellie.
Rory is like struggling to get up, even though his hands are still tied behind his back. He's like kind of trying to roll to get up and get to his knees and shouting, "Eigner, help her out! Ellie's bleeding all over herself."
Eigner. Well, Eigner has got Knot all up in there, and he's like, well, yeah, I mean, yes, but what am I supposed to do with him?
Darun,
I've got it, Eigner.
Oh, okay. All right.
You can also
I've got
feel Darun's presence next to you as he, just assists you in grappling Knot and says, "It's all right, lad. I got him. If you need to go over there and help your friend."
Okay. And then I was gonna have Eigner say something like snarky to Knot in particular, but I can't think of anything. So Eigner will left it unsaid, and he will rush over to Ellie to see if he can help.
The smell of blood is the most obvious thing in Eigner's world right now, whether it be because of not so close to him or Ellie. But as you move toward Ellie, there's another scent that was lingering underneath the smell of blood that is dissipating as you walk away. And it's something that you connect with infection.
Huh. So like I was smelling that on Knot, pretty much?
Yeah, that's a pretty safe assumption.
Woo!
Got me worried then. That's saying quick.
It's cool. Eigner's got lesser restoration. I don't think I've used it at all, but whatever. Eigner will go over and definitely use a healing spell on Ellie.
I've already done it.
Well,
I mean,
All
can
right.
you
Do it too.
I don't need it. I don't need it for the damage. So.
oh, okay.
Start mechanics wise. Don't use your spell slot.
Okay, well then Eigner will go over there and offer moral support in some kind of way.
I do have a question though. In the process of healing, because Leah used her staff, she did 12 points of healing. But in the process, did the bullet come out? So is it like out there so people can see it and figure out what it was?
Well, that's what I was going to ask before you healed it. I was going to have Ellie kind of think enough to kind of stop Leah before she kind of healed it, because she knows
it might heal it inside.
Yeah, it would close up that wound. So I think she reach around and kind of numbly try and feel for if it came out the other side.
The bullet passed through cleanly.
Okay.
All the way through. Okay.
Then she'll just kind of nod and take the heal.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I don't think Leah. She's seen guns now, but she doesn't really know how they work. So she'll look at the others and say, "What was that? What caused this?"
Eigner will speak up and say, that was a firearm. It's a pretty awful new invention, if you ask me.
That was what Knot had in his hands?
Yeah. Eigner would not mistake the sound, ever again. And he will relate this little anecdote and say, the first time I saw one of those used... Wait, I think he was able to see it. Wait, no, he wasn't around. God damn it.
Oh.
The assassination. Okay, so he'll say it like this.
He knows enough about it
Yeah.
because
He's been around Theala though, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh
He'll say they first were used to assassinate the Azamar ambassador.
I I think I might have made this happen when I was trying to shove him out of the way.
Look,
I was trying to stop him from doing whatever it was he was doing, but
look,
I don't think I did.
don't worry yourself too much about that. I mean, it's crossfire. Anything could happen. And then he'll turn to Ellie and say, "Are you okay?"
She'll like, first of all, just be like, kind of nodding, and then clicks, and then she's got, yeah, I think so, and then she'll reach up a hand to Leah for help up off of her feet.
Yeah, Leah will take both hands and as she's helping her up, say, "I'm so sorry."
Ellie puts her hands on Leah's shoulders. It's like she's shaking still.
Mm-hmm.
And then looks at Leah and says, "Don't be. It was better that he shot one of us than he shot Darun. Like, I can take it. It's fine. Don't. You did the right thing."
Eigner will take out of his pack his water skin and hand it to Ellie and say, press it into her hand and say, just take it easy, all right, just take it easy. Let us figure this out for a second, okay? And then Eigner will walk back over to Not, doing a little bit of this.
I was gonna inject there for a second.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
As you were kind of talking and checking out Ellie, you suddenly hear from Darun. What'd you say? You want to say that again, boy? He's got Not pressed up against the wall, lifted as high as his arms can go with his halberd across Not's neck. Not is like choking and coughing out blood, but he is smiling between, with blood dripping around or caked in around his teeth. His eyes looking fairly bloodshot. And as you turn, Eigner, the smell of infection just hits you that much stronger.
Eigner will rush over to Darun and try and be the voice of reason for a second and say, Darun, calm down. We can't get any answers out of him if he's dead. The part he will not say is, believe me, I've already tried. But Darun was there. Darun was there for that. How getting answers from a dead person wasn't super duper helpful. But he'll say, yeah, Darun, stand down. We can't get any answers out of him if he's dead.
Darun, swirls back toward Eigner, dropping Not to the ground, and kind of readies the haft of his halberd, so the blunt end is faced at into Not's face, and says, "Look, that little shite said he's the one who sent the assassins after me."
Huh. Eigner will kind of not be surprised. Darun, like I'm trying to tell you, if you want answers as to why, we can't let him die yet.
I don't see the point in answers at this point. It's just some revenge, and then I'm gonna get the fuck out of here.
Look, just let me handle this for a second, okay? Eigner will kneel down and grab Not by the scruff of his neck, and it's probably like smelling pretty bad, honestly, right up here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to tell you that I do have the cantrip Spare the Dying, so if Not just like up and dies on me, I'm actually gonna save him, keep him from slipping away, because I don't want to use Speak with Dead again.
Right.
I don't want to do that. So Eigner will grab Not by the scruff of his neck and say, look, I have the power to keep you in between the land of the living and the land of the dead. I have the power to keep you there or send you one way or the other. Now you will answer my questions.
He, you can feel the warm spray of blood against your cheek as he just spits in your face.
Oh, gross.
Ask your questions, and then we'll see if I answer them.
Why?
Oh,
Oh, go for it.
Can at this point, like, Ellie with Leah, like, kind of ask for Leah's help and have them both kind of slowly make their way over there so they can kind of show up as the questions start asking? That's it.
Is that
Yeah.
that's cool?
fine.
All right, cool.
So Rory will kind of be hobbling over. So, I know we got a lot going on, but can someone get these ropes off me?
Leo will return to that task extremely guiltily.
Ellie will hug Rory.
Aw.
Oh.
Aw.
He
He
kind of
doesn't
like
need arms for that.
leans his head into the hug, with his arms still
Oh, he's in the
behind
back.
his back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he whispers in Ellie's ear, "Are you sure you're gonna be okay?"
I think so.
Right?
I've got worse
Well-
things to worry about right now.
Let me know if I can help at all.
Have a think about ethereal parasites.
Oh,
That'd help.
that sounds like something I don't want to catch.
Yep. Yep.
And thank you, Leah, he says as he, kind of shuffles his wrists, and you can see the rope burn from just him having them on for so long.
How's what kind of shape is he in? Does he look enough that she would feel like she needed to use another charge on her staff?
I mean, he's got the rope burns around his wrists, and his face is a little puffy from having taken a blow to it. His nose appears to have stopped bleeding, so he seems to be okay, and he's not complaining about any of his injuries.
If I need to perform a medicine check or something, tell me.
Yes, perform a medicine check.
Okay. $23.
All right. One thing you do notice is he's trying to sort of get the blood flow back in his hands. His fingers have gone almost blue. You can see that the blood circulation, the blood flow to his hands has been pretty well cut off, and it's very much affecting him. So there are deeper injuries than he's letting on.
Well, then Leah will expend another charge on her staff, but also probably either ask Ellie to maybe ask Ellie to ask Ellie to see if she can help massage some of the blood back into Rory's hands. She realizes that this is just playing into the situation that she has been observing, but it seems like it might be helpful. And
as you begin to sort of use the staff, and Ellie's, if she's gonna, are you gonna do the hand massaging thing, Ellie?
Sure, if Leah thinks it will help. Yeah.
Rory's just kind of trying to shrug you off. No, don't want to be a bother. I'll be all right.
Ellie's be like, shh.
Yeah,
Keep going.
And 9 healing.
Cool, thank you. All right. So over to Eigner and Darun glowering over him as Eigner is leaning into Knott's face and doing the interrogation bit.
Mm-hmm. Eigner will start to get a bit of his Batman voice going on. Who do you work for? Start to go in that direction, and he'll say, "Why did you want Darun dead?"
Well, I don't really want him dead. I don't really want anyone dead, but it is just thing I was sent here to do.
Who sent you?
Not only will I not answer that question, because it could get me killed, but also because it could harm people that I care about. So, no, ask a different one.
I could kill you right now, and then I could revive you, and then I could kill you again, and then I could revive you again, and then I could kill you for a third time. You want me to go through all that time and effort? Do you want to go through all that pain? Or do you just want to answer my fucking question?
Well, listen, you could do all those things, and I still won't answer that question. So, ask another one. But don't ask at all. I don't care.
Where's...
Sorry, but
Go
can
for it.
I cast the detect thoughts spell?
Ooh,
Yes, you can.
there you
Just
go.
as you're
Yeah.
hearing this, Ella's listening in.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the DC.
The DC only 18.
Okay.
That's a good DC.
And
That's a good DC, yeah.
So as you first probe in, you hear, like his thoughts are just kind of on the, I could eat. And not just like a snack, maybe like a whole turkey leg. No, I'm feeling pretty hungry at the moment. And then, as you push deeper into his mind, you hear the mantra, I am not. I will forever be not. Like all the rest. We don't exist. We are gone. We are not.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything yet. I'm going to keep listening while Michael keeps talking.
Okay. And then I will say, I will ask, I will interrogate, I will say, where's Ren?
He looks at you, and for a moment you pick up a note of, I guess, confusion in his voice. Who?
Does Ellie get any kind of thought reading off of that?
There is a momentary, who the hell is Ren? And then back to, we are not. And that whole sort of mantra.
I'm wondering if Eigner should actually go through with his whole, like, interrogation threats that he's been threatening.
I don't think it's worth it. You're going to use a holy spell slot for
I
what's going to
mean-
be a bigger fight.
I
I
mean,
don't think. It won't change.
so tempted to. It's so Eigner's MO to use, like, really valuable spell slots for, like, not really good reasons. That's
Yeah.
totally his MO. I don't know.
I'll ask, like not really looking away from Rory. I'll say I'll say, who is not as a whole?
Then he smiles and says, well, that's a good question. We are not. It is what I owe my life to.
Who's we?
That is the deepest question. Soon enough, everyone will be we.
So I'm overhearing this part of the conversation.
You stood right next to me, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, so.
So your name, Not, is one that was given to you?
He nods. And
And
Duran
is
just
it-
kind of shifts uncomfortably.
Leah, until now, has been assuming that it was spelled differently or something. So now she's just going to ask. And it's spelled N-O-T?
He nods again.
That's so messed up.
Ellie, you get, as Not begins to speak, you get this image of a young dwarven child sitting and playing, you're plucking clumsily at a harp. An elven woman sitting next to him and smiling at his failures, and then showing him how to do it just a little bit more proficiently. And Not says, "All that I was, I gave up to become this. Because there is something greater than me. There is a world that can be shaped into the image that we want it to be. That is what I stand for. That is what I die for. We are not."
Eigner is going to do because Eigner's getting like freaked out right now, and he really is starting to feel that there's something going on that like none of them have really picked up on yet. So he's going to try and do a perception check to really just like smell and like try and figure out what is going on with this like infection smell. Like he's trying to get some kind of clue going on.
Okay.
Oh my god. No clues for Eigner. That's a total of 12.
Yeah, you are so overcome with disgust as you just begin to take in this breath at the scent, and you can put your hand near where the wound is and feel the heat rising off of his body. But aside from that, you're not really picking up anything else from the infection.
Disgusting. Well, Eigner will turn to Darun and say, "Is there anything you want to ask?"
Yeah. And he kneels down to Nod and says, "Now you listen close, boyo. Why is it you wanted me dead?" And Nod looks at him and just says, "Because you dug too deep, Darun. There are some things you're not meant to go searching for. And so you have to die." And then he looks at the rest of you and says, "And so do all the rest of you. I'm sorry, I don't take any pleasure in it. It's just the way of the world."
Dug too deep into what? The Night Council?
Among other things. Yes.
What's showing up in his head when he says that?
He... I'll wait for this to see. He is beginning to, again, with the not mantra, but Ellie is sort of just picking up this level of fear and almost doubt when it comes to the mentioning of the Night Council.
Can I, like, in what way? Like, I don't mind if that needs to be an insight, but like whether it's like a doubt that he doesn't really know.
Yeah, why don't you
Whether
roll
that
insight
is-
and see how you can interpret that. How well, you know.
12.
12 in total? Okay.
Yeah.
It's unclear whether it's like doubt of at what the Night Council is or what their intentions are, or a doubt in what their goals are.
Okay.
A lot of the mental imagery of the Night Council is sort of like smoke and mirrors, like childhood bedtime stories, kind of levels of fear.
Okay. So slightly worried that Eigner is going to do something like hasty right now, especially because to Ellie, as soon as Eigner turns to like the guest party member and says, "Is there anything you want to ask?" says to her, "This guy's probably not going to be alive for much longer." She is going to kind of like squeeze Rory's hand gently one last time and like kind of smile at him reassuringly, and then she's going to walk over to where Eigner is with Not and just kind of like put a hand on his shoulder, and almost like dismissing him, but not like dismissing him, just being like, "You're not doing this on your own now," kind of like shoulder tap. And also to Darun, kind of, because she doesn't really like how sort of he's getting a bit confrontational with him either. And then she's gonna ask Not, who or what was it that you gave up your life for?
You see for a moment, as you're kind of probing his thoughts, a boy walking hand in hand with a gruff-looking dwarven man with a long red beard, and they're walking at the head of a caravan. And then you hear a cry, and see as a arrow is protruding from this dwarven man's chest, and then the image just tears away violently, and Not stares at you, grits his teeth, blood caked between his gums, and says, "Stop looking into my mind."
She is gonna reach out and put a hand now on Not's shoulder, and say very steadily, "I'm sorry for what I think happened to you that has turned you to whatever it is you have given yourself over to. I can sense that it was something incredibly painful, and it's very easy to turn your back on who you are and what and the life that you were living if you think it's the easy way out of those feelings. Every single one of us here can understand that. But you're doing the wrong thing. We need to know what this thing is."
He looks away. Tears are starting to stream down his eyes, whether it's from pain or from the memory kind of being drudged up again. And he says, It doesn't really matter what happens to me. A world is already in motion. It will come about. But if you really plan to follow up on whatever your thoughts are about the Night Council, you'll find your answers through that door.
What is through that door?
Through that door, as I assume that you've come here looking for.
We were warned not to go through the black door. Why would that be?
Because the black door will show you what you need. Not everyone can follow through with that, because it will also show you what you have to do to get that need.
Have you been through it?
I wasn't strong enough.
But you came back out. You managed to come out.
I never stepped through.
Oh, okay. This thing that you have, is it some sort of curse? Like, Leah could try and free you of whatever thing has hold of you.
No, I have no curse. I am not, because it's what's right. It's what's going to bring this world peace. But there's always a cost to peace.
At this point, Leah's been having some flashbacks, especially when he talked about giving up everything that he owned or cared about to the cause, and she's remembering a certain cult and having some feelings about that. So it takes her a while to kind of like shove that aside and listen in. But at this point, she's going to come over and say, like, what is the cause that is worth doing things that you know are wrong? How can your goals be worth this?
A unified people, a world held under the sway of a righteous commander, an economy structured around people giving from the goodness of their own hearts and not stealing what isn't theirs. A place where a mother can hold her child and not fear that the next moment will tear them apart. We are building rulers that will hold the world together in the harshest of times, and that will bring us out of these times a single people, whole in perspective and ideal. Not everyone can understand that, though, because sometimes certain things must be surrendered, and one of the things that people strongly hold so tightly to is their free will. He coughs. Sometimes our own will just blinds us and holds us back from our true potentials.
What is the point of peace and giving and mercy and all of these things that you claim are in the future if we don't have the free will to enjoy them? What is even the point?
He sort of studies you, and you can see he's just growing weaker. His eyes are not fully in focus. What is the point of freedom if you choose to take and harm others?
There has to be both. There has to be freedom, but my freedom ends where your freedom begins. But there has to be that ability to choose to do good. Everyone deserves peace. Everyone deserves to live a good life, but everyone also deserves the autonomy to choose.
He nods knowingly and says, "Yes, I thought like that too. But my life tells me otherwise. When given the ability to choose, more often than not, people choose the selfish road, and it ends in blood."
And my life has shown me that trying to take away someone's free will in the name of peace ends in much, much worse.
Then he...
And I've lived a lot longer than you, so...
That's very true. He steadies his gaze on you and says, "I guess we'll see who's right in the end, but I have my fate." And then he sort of wavers on what's left of his consciousness and sort of passes out.
I suppose as he is passing out, Leah says something like, "I'm sorry that it has broken you."
Eigner will say in a very strange voice, because he sounds like confused, but he also sounds frustrated, but he also sounds like I don't know. He's just got this kind of weird tone of his voice right now, and he says, "Do you want me to bring him back?"
He's not dead, I don't think. I think he's just unconscious. Perhaps. Oh, you're muted, Alex. Okay. I think. And then she's gonna kind of like trail off and look up at the black door, and then just kind of say, "I'm not sure we should really be dragging him through there, but I'd also the door." She then says, "It's like I don't know what you're talking about."
Oh, I see.
Go on.
Why? Why not? Why? I mean,
Because if what he says is right and there's some sort of like trial through there, dragging an unconscious man through it may not be the best idea. We don't know what will happen to him. We don't know what will happen to us. If we lose him in there, he might be lost in there forever. And although, yes, he has done bad things and he tried to kill Darun and he's not in a great state of mind right now, I don't think we should kill him. I saw flashes of his past. He was, you know, a uncorrupted, normal, happy child for a while, and I don't think it's our decision to end that life when we don't know if we could bring him out of whatever he's in.
Eigner takes a hand, does one of these, just tries to think it all over. Okay, so I mean it's a huge security risk. I mean this whole thing that he's doing right now, and he gestures to Not on the ground, like unconscious and bleeding out, and he gestures to him and says, "This whole thing he's doing right now could be a front. You know, he could have powers that we don't yet understand. I think it's an enormous security risk to let him live and just let him stay here. Like he could come get us after the fact. I mean, we don't know. You don't know. I certainly get the impression that he is hiding something from us, and not just some kind of tidbit of information. I believe he's hiding something about what he truly is."
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think there definitely is more there than what we managed to get out of him, but I don't agree with killing him. And she walks over and picks up the gun that's being left on the floor.
Oh, I was gonna do that. No, you do it. You do it. You take it.
And
Blind
so
men
she'll
shouldn't shoot guns.
Well, that's true.
yeah, she goes over and sort of picks it up, and walks back over, kind of looking at it, and then I don't know what kind of size is the gun? Is it like...
Is it a pistol, like a kind of like a flintlock kind of pistol kind of deal, or?
It is. Yeah, it's a flintlock pistol, but it's kind of long barreled. It's not like, it's just longer than a normal flintlock pistol that you would have in mind would be.
So she kind of looks at it and then just says, "Well, you won't have this," and she'll tuck it away into her bag. And we can strip him of everything that would be of any use to him. To get back out, he has to go past that big bone monster again. And from what he said, he sounds like he's not going to come in through that door after us. I mean, I don't know what Rory and Darun were thinking of, if they're going to come with us or not, but I'm not sure they want to go through this door, nor do I really want to put them through that. So perhaps the best idea is we tie up Not, leave him with Darun and Rory, and they can either wait here for us to hopefully come back, or they can start making their way back out. Although, again, it's the bone monster, but I think this next part might be just for the three of us.
Yeah, Rory nods and like wipes his nose with his arm and like leaves a streak of blood down his forearm. Right, yeah, I got no desire to go through that door. I'm happy to keep an eye on this guy. And Darun hefts his halberd over his shoulder. I'm not afraid of that thing. I'm going in there. That's where you guys are headed.
That's
I have a-
disinterest.
Okay. Well,
I have a question though, before we go too far.
mhm.
Does not look like he is going to stay unconscious and not just slip into death, given the infection and everything else? And do I need to make another medicine check?
Well,
You should make another medicine check.
well,
Mhm.
at to that point, Eigner will say to Ellie, "Look, whatever you want to do, let's do that. That's fine. But just give me a little bit of time to try and make sure that he's not too much of a threat. Okay? Can we take a little bit of time right now?"
I think a rest right now would probably be a good idea. And she kind of looks back down at where the bullet wound is.
For sure.
Yeah,
For
I
sure.
could do with a breather, I think.
Okay. So that is
Um,
Egner's way of segueing into this whole thing, and part of it is going to be doing spare the dying on
Mhm.
not.
I will say, from your medicine check, Alex, he is wavering in and out of consciousness, and without help to deal with the infection, he will die.
Does it look like a healing spell would take care of the infection, or do we have to do one of the other spells?
It would have to be something along the lines of a restoration spell.
Lesser restoration.
Then, yeah, Leah will convey that information to Eigner in case he didn't already know.
That being said, also, you don't really have time to take a long rest in this place.
Well,
Short
the short
rest,
rest
right?
is fine,
Short rest is completely doable.
That's what we were going to aim for, I think.
for sure.
All right, just wanted to be sure.
Okay, so with having that knowledge, Egner will he'll be grumbly about it, but he will say, "All right, fine. Take care of the infection. Okay, all right. Make him even more likely to, try and kill us again. Fine. Okay, yeah, we'll do that." And he grumbles about it, but he goes and he casts Lesser Restoration on Not. And then his other kind of list of priorities for the short rest is to do a ritual casting of Detect Magic, and then spend the entire 10 minutes of that staring at Not and trying to pick up any magics that indicate that he's hiding something, some kind of power that he isn't immediately showing to us, So that's going to be his whole priority there, and then his other priority is going to be to actually rest and actually spend hit dice and get hit points back. I was doing the math on that. Yeah.
Before,
Go
oh,
on.
before Leah short rests, but maybe after Eigner does his thing, she will attempt to use remove curse on Not, just in case there is something. So she'll be trying to pay attention and see if that makes any difference. But I think she'll maybe do that after Eigner finishes his detect magic stuff, just in case. That also might be useful to know.
And Rory, in response to Agner, sort of grumbling about, "Oh yeah, just heal him, just make him more dangerous. He's all right. He's tied up. I'll keep an eye on him."
All right.
And as
Last time we did that, bad things happened, but that's fine.
as you cast Lesser Restoration, the smell of the infection begins to dissipate a bit. His wavering in and out of unconsciousness starts to settle down, and he begins to fall into a sleep. He's now sort of in a fever dream state. Rory takes off his coat and lays it over him. Anybody who gives him a weird look, he'll just say, "What? There's no reason to ignore the niceties." And Daroon, in the time, will pull Ellie aside. "Look, I don't know what to expect through that door, but when you find your brother, you need to be able to get out of here, regardless of what happens to anyone else. and he reaches into his pouch and he pulls out something wrapped in a cloth.
Nice.
He says, when the time comes, you unravel this, think of where you need to go, and you touch it. Don't look at it or touch it before time is right.
Okay. Thank you. So,
And then he, as you slip it away, he puts an arm on your shoulder. And remember, trust is something that comes in short supply.
That's
she's
something.
gonna look.
That's something that Zeller said, right?
Yeah. She's gonna look over at Rory as he says this. And then looks back at Daroon. Oh, yeah. She's gonna say to him, like, quietly, away from where Rory can hear. What do you think about leaving them two together?
He looks back at them and says, I don't know about you, but Rory only seems slightly roughed up. There's nothing saying that they weren't in that together. And perhaps it's just a bit of a red herring, you know? Someone we're supposed to be able to put our faith in, but maybe he's working in this with the boy.
See, I could cast detect thoughts on him, but he's gonna know.
That's true. But you could run through that door real fast before he finds out a way to act about it.
True, and I guess, I managed to explain it away with you. Explain it away with him if he's nice.
And if it comes to it, I'll put my halberd through his throat.
Okay, I'm gonna cast detect thought.
On Rory.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, how the turntables.
Oh, how the turntables have turntabled. I had to go look up where that quote was from because I remembered it, but I was like...
The Office, right?
I think it's The Office, yeah.
It is The Office. As you're coming up and sort of opening your mind to Rory's, you just hear this thought. Well, they'll find where he's buried. Is the immediate thought that you hear in Rory's head.
Say that again.
They'll find where he's buried.
Okay.
Nice.
It doesn't look good.
Nice.
As he looks up at you, he just, oh, hey, Ellie. And then he just kind of gets this weird look about him. What are you looking for in his thoughts? You suddenly feel that you have complete access to his entire, I guess, memory, really.
But, he knows, and, he's fine with it. That's weird. I think her initial thing is she's trying to tell if she kind of hears this, chant, any sort of chanting, like Not was doing. Or if it's, anything to do with that, thing.
As you shuffle through his brain, looking for the idea of not, all you really get is there's several thoughts Rory's had along the line of, Not's a really strange name. Who'd name their kid Not? It's like telling them that they're nothing.
Okay. Can I just try? I don't know how this works. This is a really weird way of this working. I can't get my head around it.
Yeah.
So looking for sort of deception.
So to give you context, he critically failed the roll.
Yeah.
So instead of oh, you pick up a thought, I'm giving you access to whatever information you're looking for.
Okay. So basically, if he's deceiving us, then what his actual true thoughts are towards us, I guess.
Okay.
It's and his intentions.
So you think, you kind of dig through his thoughts, and he has a real, genuine fondness for Eigner. and his thoughts toward Leah are a bit reserved, a bit unsure. She gives him the spooks a little, um, but on top of that, he has a very sweet uh, sort of reflection of you, and on top of that, there's layers of guilt involved in it, and you also see the face of a dwarven woman and a young dwarven boy and a young dwarven girl, and so you're just kind of getting this sense of, yeah, he likes you, but like he feels really bad about something, and but the sense of what it is isn't coming out fully.
Do I recognize I don't recognize the faces, right?
No, they just kind of swim through the memory as he's thinking about you and about his feelings about the group.
Can I dig deeper in this guilt at all, or is it the kind of thing I'm gonna have to ask him about?
No, I'll let you dig a little deeper. And you get along the level of that guilt, his longing for being home. Think of the gladiator moment where he's running his hands through the wheatgrass. It's a similar thing where he's just been in service for so long that he misses being home, and you get the sense that he would do anything to get there.
Oh, not in a bad way though. Oh, that was almost really sweet and nice, and now I'm like, oh god, what would he do to get there? I will put not ending the spell. I'll put a hand on Drurin's shoulder and just kind of be like, it's okay. It's like, stand down, don't run your halberd through him. And then I'm gonna just like walk over to Rory and like take his hand, and I think like pull him away from the group on our own for a bit for the short rest basically, and I'm gonna spend that like I'm gonna try and talk to him but keep the spell on. So I can,
Okay.
Sick. Can I jump in with having done the detect magic on Not, or did you already tell me what that was all
No,
about?
so I didn't tell you that. So,
okay.
When you're doing the detect magic, you just study him deeply and take him into this entire time, and you see bits of magic that are it's illusory is the school of magic, but they're sort of touching parts of his brain almost like a shield. And then as Leah comes along and casts Remove Curse, those bits of magic shatter, and he wakes up with a gasp and a scream, and then he falls back into his fever sleep.
Okay. Eigner just says, "Ha."
What, Eigner? What did I just do?
I'm not sure if I can describe it all that well, but there was magic in, on, or around his brain, in his head, and when you did the thing that you did, that magic went away. I think that's about as good as I can describe what happened.
Should we wake him up and talk to him again?
If you'd like, I just kind of want to observe him a little longer. But yeah, you can wake him up if you want to.
I'm not sure what the best thing to do would be, but if something has changed because of what I did, perhaps we might want to revisit things.
Maybe we should ask Ellie.
Ellie's busy talking to Rory.
Yeah.
yeah, Ellie's walked away now.
Well, I'm not sure what to do. I mean, Ellie was the one who had strong opinions on what we should do with Not. So I guess I just don't want her to get pissed off at me.
More pissed off.
I also have strong opinions on what to do with Not, so I think you should wake him up.
Okay. let's wake him up then. Eigner will be down for this, but in the actual practice, he's like gonna take a step back and be a little more of the passive one because he wants to focus on his detect magic sight as long as he has it, and he's gonna keep studying not to see if anything fishy happens.
What methods are you going to use to attempt to wake him up?
Well, he's more healed now, right? So shouldn't just like slapping him wake him up?
The infection has been pretty well, like, kind of reduced, but his unconsciousness has been because of just him being in this fever state. So conventional attempts to wake him up only work for moments where he is in a stage of delirium.
So then a little more healing would be necessary.
Something a little bit stronger than that would be necessary to get him awake.
Well, Eigner doesn't quite want to use the spell slots. Not even sure if I have an appropriate spell. I mean, we already did Lesser Restoration. We did Remove Curse.
Why don't you make another medicine check, Leah?
Okay. I mean, Eigner can also make that. He's a medicine-y kind of guy.
Ish.
I have a 26.
So, being that he's not breaking out of this this stage that he's in, you do know that reaching out emotionally and doing some of your magical specialities might keep him conscious long enough to be able to see if anything has changed. However, that will give you a vast amount of influence over him.
Mm-hmm.
Temptation.
Yeah. I was wondering because the last time I was able to like get into someone's head and get like their true thoughts instead of whatever was controlling them was because I used dominate person. And I don't really want to do that because reasons. I think she's going to choose, when she realizes that that's what she's going to have to do, she's going to choose to back off. And we'll say, no, okay, I think trying to get through to him at this point, there's going to be too great of a cost. I suppose we should just let him sleep.
Fair enough. Just, we'll be sure to tell Ellie what happened.
Yep. Ellie, I will give you, say you have time in your rest for maybe 3 questions with Rory.
Okay. Oh god. Okay. Well, like, so basically I want to, like, lead him over, like, by the hand over to sort of a corner of the room and, like, sit him down. So it's, like, so we're kind of comfortable and it's, like, this isn't, like, an interrogation. It's just a, like, almost, like, friendly discussion kind of thing. And so I'll say, Rory, I don't know if you're aware, and I do apologize for it, but I have used a detect thoughts spell on you. I'm sure you can understand that at this point in time we need to be extra cautious with who knows what and everything.
Right, yeah. I mean, only natural, but I trust you, Ellie. And he's just kind of nodding along as you talk, and still in a bit of that haze.
Rory, what is the grave that you were thinking about? Whose grave?
Oh, well, I was just thinking, this is not, he's got a organization he's part of, and those people, well, they could be dangerous, and he could be dangerous. It goes back to him, knowing who we are and all that. So I thought maybe we could kill him, bury his body, but well, these people probably have a lot of influence and they see a lot of things. They'll find him, and I mean, if they got access to magic like Eigner's, they'd be able to get answers from him, even if he's dead. So, you know, what's the point in burying the body? They'll just find it.
Can I tell if it? Do I need to insight? Like, or can I tell?
Insight
That's-
check.
100% exactly like what you're reading in his thoughts is where his mindset was at.
So she sort of nods, and then says, "I sensed some guilt towards me, maybe the group. I'm not sure. Would you mind telling me a bit more about that?"
Well, I mean, yeah. Look, I've been a soldier for a long time, and not every day I see a pretty face and someone that I share interests with. And thing is, got me a family back home, and I mean, I got me a wife and I got me kids and all that. Can't be feeling any level of attraction or anything like that to somebody when I'm already a committed man.
She just kind of like blushes, I think. That's not very obviously about her. But she'll just smile and say, of course, I understand, Rory. Don't. But I don't think you have anything to feel guilty about. And I know how much you wanted to get home. I could see that, how much you miss home. Right?
Right?
Well, then once I get my brother back, I will make it my mission to get you home. Don't leave the army, leave the war, go home.
He knits his brow at that and says, I can't do that. I'm a soldier. This is my duty. It's not even a question of being able to just walk away. I gotta serve my time and retire. That's how it works. That's the way of things.
How much longer do you have to serve?
Well, I mean, got maybe another 10 years, but I'll have time to visit my family in the meantime, you know. A few months here and there.
How
Watch
far?
my kids get older.
How far
every
away
day.
do they live? Your family, from where you're stationed?
Well, I live, you know, deep in the mountain regions, where it's safe, where any respectable person is going to keep their family from all this ruckus and fighting about.
Okay, so they are safe.
Of course, wouldn't be a good father if they weren't.
Okay. Well, if you need help and you want to leave the army and you want to get home and you need someone to help you get home, then I will drop everything after this to help you do that. But either way, I'm getting you out of this place alive and safe and at least back to your army. Okay?
As you're bringing that up, and his thoughts begin to drift toward the black door and towards Knott's words about what you want, showing you what you want and what you need to do, or you need to sacrifice to get that. And he shudders, and you get this sense that he's thinking about himself going through the door and seeing his family and being with his, you know, in the place that he really wants to be. But also, he's questioning and all sorts of possibilities running through his head of what the cost could be. And somewhere down the line, he has an image of himself turning all of you into his commanding officers, and essentially being taken before the justicars of the dwarves and held to their justice. And he's thinking, could I pay that price?
Eigner says, no thank you, already been there, done that. No thanks.
Paid the fine.
I think in time of war, it's a little more than a fine. But
What?
I know what you mean.
So, sorry, what was the... So he was looking at the door and thinking about going through the door, and then is his overall decision not to go through the door?
He's uncertain.
Right.
He wants to because he wants to because he wants to do what he needs, but he also is afraid to because he doesn't know if he'd be willing to pay the price.
He wants to rat us out. Fucking...
That is what he seems to feel is the ultimate price in this situation.
Hey, Rory, snitches get stitches. You didn't know? You didn't know? Okay, alright. I'm sorry, continue.
Ellie will put her hand back over his and just say, don't go through the door. Whatever you decide to do after this, please don't go through that door. I don't think it will be safe for you.
He starts to kind of like his eyes get a little bit watery, and he kind of blinks at him and rubs at him, and then looks up at you and says, "Oh, will you think lesser of me if I do?"
No. But do you know that going through there isn't being with them? We don't even know if it's a trick or not. Whatever it shows us might not be true, and it might not be how we actually get the thing that we want. It's better just to go back and find the real way to get back to your family.
Yeah, that's sensible. You're a good person, Ellie. Thank you.
Thank you. We're probably going to leave Not with you. I don't know. You can try start making your way out. I don't know if we're going to be coming back through here. I don't really know what's going to happen now. So
He goes, I think what I should do is be taking Knot and go in and turn on him into the authorities, letting him know what he's part of. And forgetting that I came into contact with Joel. Might be best. Because you're right, you may not be coming back through this way. And I may never see y'all again. And I think it's more dangerous for all of us if we know where the others turn out in the end.
yeah, you're probably right. And then she'll just sit quietly for the rest of the short rest with Rory. She doesn't leave, but
Well, shortly after, Duran will tap his halberd against the wall and, everyone, are we ready to get moving?
Yeah, Eigner will get ready. He'll finish his last piece of beef jerky that he was gnawing on. And then, yeah, he's chilling. He's ready.
I think Ellie will hug Rory and then say good luck, and
Thank
then
you.
get up and walk over to stand with the others in front of the door.
Yep, and take a deep breath and say, well, I guess it's into the belly of the beast. And we'll take a break.
And we'll take a break. All right. Perfect timing, perfect pacing to get us to our break time. And there's more exciting Roll for Mischief action coming to you in about 15 minutes on a dusty road. I won't finish the whole song because I'll be singing all day. So yeah, come back and join us, and we'll see what's on the other side of that black door. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun,
Dun dun dun. We'll be right back.